My talk is on gait disorders in children. I'll try and just cover the basics of gait and some clinical cases which we see in practice, which will help one to alert an early diagnosis. Now, there are a lot of fancy tests now available with AI technology. You can actually diagnose various gait patterns, but it won't tell you the cause. We also have fancy 3D gait labs. We have our own lab at Mahim, where we do a lot of gait analysis. But again, it gives you a pattern. It doesn't diagnose the condition. Now, keeping that in mind, I won't discuss these fancy graphs, but I'll just go what is basics required. So like somebody said, the first speaker spoke about pelvic tilt. You can actually measure pelvic tilt dynamically in the motion analysis lab. But I'll stick to something very basic, common sense approach to gait disorders in children, where we see in practice day in and day out, and there are many causes which can vary from genetics to musculoskeletal to even simple fractures. Of course, there are a lot of variations in gait, so one should be aware that children don't walk like adults until they're age 7. So as long as the gait is symmetrical, it is normal. For the exam purpose, you need to know various gait patterns. All the examiners are very fond of asking these questions about different types of gait. And of course, you follow a matrix. You follow a pattern when you diagnose these disorders. So just some clinical cases. All the cases are, which we have seen in practice. So a child, 14-month-old child, painless gait, one-sided, unilateral. This is not uncommon in practice. A child comes like this, painlessly walking, and you find on examination some increased asymmetry, and surprisingly there will be a hip dislocation. And on the left side you can see another child which has got the positive Galeazzi sign. Again, hip is dislocated. Now this is not uncommon. Very rarely we have screening programs in our country, and many often children come with bilateral hip dislocation also much later age. Now this child actually was referred to a neurologist, had brain scans done because of excessive lumbar lordosis, and this was his walking pattern. And they thought he's got limb girdle dystrophy until somebody did an X-ray. I've got his permission to take his photograph in this position, so that's why I didn't cover the private parts. But this child had a bilateral DDH, and this is what was completely missed at age 4. So we did our own survey, and we looked at the number of DDH picked up by parents as well as doctors, and it was surprisingly high. When the mother says the hip is something wrong in the leg, you screen the leg because they will pick up the DDH much earlier than a doctor. Similarly, this child with a toe walker, very, very common presentation in practice. We see many toe walking children. Some of them can be physiological, and this is the whole spectrum. So that 1 year child is walking like this, because they've been given an early walker. This child is spastic diplegic at 20 months. This is a hemiplegic child, and this is ADHD, autism spectrum disorder. So toe walking is just a symptom. You have to see the underlying evaluation. And when they come to you beyond, say, 2 years, you must evaluate them, refer to a neurologist or an orthopedic surgeon. Of course, there are many causes for it. You do a thorough examination. It could be in the muscle or the nerves. And treatment is fairly simple. Again, a very common problem is seen is bow-leggedness in children. So children walk like this in the clinic. Many of them will come like this, and if they're symmetrical, they are usually physiological up to age 2 years. But beyond 2 years, you need to evaluate them. Again, there's a whole spectrum of these. This is a whole spectrum of bow-leg in children. Each one of them is different. This is a normal child. The first one is achondroplasia. This is Blount's disease. This is metaphyseal diplesia, and this is normal. So all of them are different, and they can present at various ages with different limb patterns. I'll just show an example of a child where the mother complained that this child had asymmetry in the bow legs, and she was concerned about this. And when we did the X-ray, I told them, show me the old X-ray, and this was the old X-ray at age 2 years, and this didn't look right. We got a scan done, and this was early Blount's disease where we did growth modulation and osteotomy at age 3 years, and you can literally reverse the deformity if they come very early. And this child at 8 years, they live abroad, they send me the latest X-ray, and it's completely normal. But because you were picked up early and the mother was concerned about one leg, so asymmetry in bow-leggedness, always think of a pathology, and this child is now completely normal. Similarly, this is another girl. This is a 15-year-old girl. Very interesting case. She is a Paralympian. She comes from Maldives and she plays in the basketball team in Paralympics. The coach told her, you can't play because you walk with the left foot in supination. If you see very closely, the left foot supinates. And it was a difficult situation whether we could correct that. We planned this osteotomy, did the multi-level osteotomy, and eventually got the leg straight.